Howdy, y'all. Week one of college football is upon us. Fall is close, the air is getting cooler. Well, unless you're like me and you live in the great state of Texas. Anyways, college football is here. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into the big week one matchups. The week kicks off tonight, Thursday night. Well, tonight as of the time of this recording. I think the first big matchup is on Friday night. Let's talk about Auburn versus Baylor. For those of y'all who watched my preseason video, you know I'm a big believer in the Auburn Tigers. But you also know I'm optimistic about the Baylor Bears. Baylor returns 13 starters and is 35th in the nation in the 24/7 Sports Team Talent Composite. Auburn returns 11 starters and is 13th in the talent composite. Interestingly, that's highest amongst teams who were below 500 last season. And I thought about this. I was originally going to pick Baylor, but I'm going with Auburn. I know Baylor's at home, but let's be real here. McLean Stadium is not intimidating for an SEC team to go into. Baylor does return more production, but not by much. I think Auburn is more talented, and I think the real tipping point is they return 4 starters on the offensive line. Baylor returns 1 starter on the defensive line. Like I said in my preview video, I think Auburn's going to live and die. Well, not live and die, but Auburn, I think, is going to lean on the run this year. I think they'll be able to run it on Baylor. I think Auburn has the weapons on the outside, and I think the O-line gives Jackson Arnold time to make good plays. I like the Auburn Tigers. Also that night, we have Georgia Tech and Colorado. Colorado announced recently Caden Salter is QB1. The Buffs are 30th in team talent and have 8 returning starters. The Yellow Jackets have 9 returning starters and are 39th in returning production. The difference in this game, though, it's going to be Haynes King. He's been with this Georgia Tech team for a few years now. Each quarterback is experienced, but I think Haynes King does enough to push the Yellow Jackets over the edge. Saturday, 11 a.m., I know the game y'all have all been waiting for. Syracuse playing Tennessee in Atlanta. I will touch on the other game later. But it's the Battle of the Orange. Tennessee, 16th in talent, 10 returning starters. Syracuse, 34th in talent, only 7 returning starters. Syracuse was great last year. I believe in Fran Brown, but they got so much production to replace. Tennessee will basically be at home in Atlanta. Give me the Volunteers. 2:30, Alabama at Florida State. Alabama. The more I look at this, the more I think I might have had them a little underrated in my preseason poll. That's okay. They have 14 returning starters and are second in team talent. Florida State only has 6 returning starters and is 19th in team talent. It's easy to look at Florida State last year and say it's a good thing they don't have many returning starters. But I'll just be honest. I'm a big believer in starters, in returning production. That continuity, I think, leads way to better communication and better results on the field. I think Castellanos will give the Tide some problems, especially early. But the Tide are just too much. Too experienced, too much depth, especially on defense where they have 8 returning starters. Alabama could have a bad offensive day, and I still think they'd win because I think this defense will be stifling to the Seminoles. Give me the Tide. 6:30, LSU at Clemson. Battle of Death Valleys. Battle of the Tigers. Rematch of the national championship in 2020. LSU is 6th in team talent, 7 returning starters, and they have the number 1 transfer portal class. Clemson is 7th in team talent, but has 16 returning starters. The Tigers of LSU have struggled in opening games recently. In fact, they haven't won one since 2019. There's been more time between LSU winning opening games than there has since the last time Ohio State beat Michigan. I expect LSU to come to this game fired up, and I think they'll jump out to a lead. But I think the talent, experience, and home field advantage will be too much for the LSU Tigers. Clemson has 4 returning starters on the O-line. Cade Klubnik is a bona fide Heisman contender. I think LSU has a few problems on defense late in the game that gives the game to the Clemson Tigers. These next 2 are going to be quick, but they'll be an exciting nightcap. Cal at Oregon State, classic East Coast versus West Coast matchup. I like the Beavers in this one. Utah at Cal. Utah is 44th in team talent with 12 returning starters. UCLA is 26th in talent and has 6 returning starters. Most notably, Nico Iamaleava transferred there this offseason. But I think a lot of people forgot Kyle Whittingham is one of the best coaches in college football and has made his mark with physical teams. And you know what the mark of a physical team is? Dominant offensive line play. Utah returns all 5 offensive line starters. I think Utah's going to be able to run the ball. I think they're going to be more physical than UCLA. Give me the Utes, and I think Nico is going to regret leaving Tennessee. Sunday night, Notre Dame at Miami. Miami has 8 returning starters and is 15th in talent. Notre Dame has 11 returning starters and is 9th in talent. I honestly expect this to be a low-scoring physical game. Notre Dame's MO is physicality, and I think that's what Miami's trying to work towards. I think Notre Dame takes a step back this year. I think CJ Carr is a little uncomfortable in his first game. I trust Carson Beck down the stretch more. Give me the Hurricanes. Now I want to talk about a team on upset watch. I think A&M is on upset watch this week. The Aggies are highly regarded. They got a lot of talent. They got a lot of returning starters. I would be lying if I said I think the Aggies are fully focused on this game. I think this game, UTSA has been focused on all offseason, trying to hit the ground running. I'll take UTSA with the points, but give me the Ags to win the game. Now, game of the week, Columbus, Ohio. Ohio State, Texas, Saturday, 11 a.m. Lots of unknowns with these teams. How do Arch Manning and Julian Sayin look? How do the teams look in general with both of them not returning very many starters? How do these offensive-minded coaches approach the game? Ohio State is 3rd in team talent and has 9 returning starters. Texas is 4th in talent, also with 9 returning starters. A big deal has been made of Ohio State not returning any defensive linemen. Important to note, the Longhorns are returning only 1 starting offensive lineman. Ohio State returns their entire interior offensive line. Texas is retooling their interior defensive line. But I trust Manning more than Sayin. He's older and has got real game experience. The Longhorns have got weapons like DeAndre Moore, Trey Wisner, CJ Baxter, Ryan Wingo. Ohio State's not lacking in this department. Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Will Carsameric, I think that's how you say his name. Ohio State lost both its coordinators, but they have the home field advantage. I've gone back and forth on this one a bunch of times. I think Ohio State's going to have success running the ball, and I think they're going to make some big plays on defense. But I'll just be honest, I trust Texas more. And that pains me to say. Obviously, I'm not really a Texas fan if you watch my videos, but I trust the Longhorns more. Arch Manning has played before. He's seen big-time environments. He's played in them. I trust him more than Sayin. I also trust the Texas pass rush. Ohio State, they returned their interior offensive line, but neither tackle. Texas is going to have Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, Anthill. I think they're going to feast in this Ohio State backfield. I think that's going to lead to Ohio State struggling to throw the ball. I think Texas will have the more balanced attack, and I think the Longhorns pull away in the end. Well, the season is officially upon us. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want more epic content like this.